In talking about the miracles in my family, I have to introduce you to my family first. Lil and I have two daughters. They were born 18 months apart. My older daughter is Melissa, who has been an X-ray tech in a group of pulmonologists for the last 17 years. My younger daughter, and a member of Gloria Day, is Laura. She's a school teacher in Paradise Valley schools and has been for about the last 15 years. When she was in her mid-20s, she complained to her sister that she had trouble breathing and that she couldn't swallow very comfortably. Her sister ran her into her pulmonologist's office and took a chest x-ray. This showed that she had a softball-sized mass in the center of her chest, and her left chest was completely filled with fluid. Further studies showed this to be a malignant lymphoma, and she was immediately begun on chemotherapy. Now, as fate would have it, her sister was being married at this exact time, and Laura was to be matron of honor. I think that some of Laura's most desperate thoughts as she dealt with this potentially fatal disease was that she would keep her hair until she got her sister married off. We were to have the rehearsal dinner at our home, and as I was winding the lights through the trees in the backyard, I suddenly found myself on my knees with tears streaming down my face. I was faced with a child with a terrible disease and the joy of another child being married. I said, Jesus, I can't do this by myself. And for the next year, I was carried in the arms of Jesus. Mercifully, Laura was cured. And there are two other postscripts to that miracle that I want to tell you about. When Laura had finally gotten cue-balled bald and lost her eyebrows too, she was forced to go to school. And incidentally, she's a real tiger because she only missed 3 days of school in the entire 9 months of her chemotherapy. So the day she wore a hat to school for the first time, the entire teaching staff wore a hat in her honor. The crowning miracle of Laura's cure is that after she recovered, she fell in love, she got married, and immediately got pregnant. I was a total basket case. I couldn't imagine how a young body could absorb this much poison and that much damaging radiation and produce a normal child. But I'm thrilled to tell you that I now have an 8-year-old handsome grandson. The last miracle that I want to tell you about occurred Christmas a year ago. Lil and I had decorated the house. We'd put the tree up. We'd sent our Christmas cards. The only thing left to do was the Christmas cookies. And in a period of about 36 hours, Lil went from completely normal to not knowing who she was or where she was. Again, my wonderful radiology daughter made the diagnosis that she had severe pneumonia, and we rushed her to the emergency room. The emergency technicians, of course, swarmed over her, putting all kinds of monitors in and IVs and nasal oxygen. And we watched the monitors, and they continued to buzz and blink. A second thing had happened. Lil had developed a dangerous arrhythmia, driving her pulse at about 225 beats per minute. The cardiology team was called to her bedside, rolling in the defibrillator and greasing up the paddles. Melissa and I stood on rubber knees with ashen faces. We had seen people a lot younger and a lot stronger die in this situation. We thought we were watching our mother's last moments on earth. The Cardiologists frantically administered bigger and bigger doses of cardiac control medication through her IV. Nothing happened. Finally, in an effort that seemed to me to be Herculean, he pushed a huge bolus of medication into the IV. All eyes were glued on the monitors, and suddenly the buzzing and the blinking stopped. Her pulse had gone down to 110. I had watched another miracle. Now it took Lil, we were in the hospital over Christmas and New Year's, but it took her about 6 months to get back to normal. But I have never been normal. My faith has been completely changed. I am much calmer. Is this the biblical peace that passes all understanding? I don't know. A generation ago, my father had a saying that said, "We do not know what the future holds, but we certainly know who holds the future." I will never be alone. I'm in the arms of a loving Savior.